buyers, and welcome to Wine Talk. I'm extremely pleased today to have as our guest Mary Naggiar. Mary, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me here.
All right. Well, Mary is, as for viewers of the show and followers of our local wine scene, you might guess Mary is connected to Naggiar Vineyards, Winery and Vineyards.
Absolutely.
So I just, Mary, tell us your relationship with Naggiar. Just give us a little heads up of who you are and what's going on with your role at Naggiar.
So I'm part of the family. I'm the daughter-in-law of Mike and Deanne Naggiar, and we run this as a family. We run the business as a family. We're extremely involved. I got into this business when I married into the family, so I sort of fell in love with it at the time and got to learn a lot about it and have been involved in many aspects of it. But in the present day, right now, my role is I am the tasting room manager. I do all of our social media, and I also do all of our marketing.
Okay, good for you. Now you're quite a cosmopolitan woman.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I've got this right. We were just talking about this. You're a British, born in Britain.
Correct.
Grew up in Kuwait.
Correct.
Married in Montreal.
A+, yeah.
And live in California.
I do.
Who doesn't want that life? So, is it wrong to say love brought you to California?
It definitely did. I fell in love with my husband. We got married in Montreal. He grew up in California, always wanted to come back, and wherever he went, I was ready to go. So, and that's where we have our family now.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
excellent. Now, just for the folks that don't know, Naggiar is a very big presence here in Nevada County. But for the folks that don't know, tell us just where is Naggiar Vineyards?
Mm-hmm.
Just in really big terms. We don't need directions to get there.
Yeah.
But where is Naggiar Vineyard? And just describe Naggiar a little bit for the folks.
So Naggiar Vineyards is halfway between Auburn and Grass Valley.
Okay.
So it's all the way at the end of Auburn, beginning Grass Valley. We've got 60 acres that are fully planted with vines. We have a tasting room on location. We also have a bistro. We do wine tasting. We do a lot of events. We do concerts. During the summer, we have concerts, music on weekends. So there's a lot of events that we do. We grow our own grapes on the estate. We make a lot of award-winning wines, and I know you're going to get to that later. So it's a beautiful oasis in the middle of a hustle and bustle and the busy life. It's a great place to just go and just slow down from the everyday quick pace that we just are, enveloped in. We're just always running.
Well, that is an interesting point, because if you ask one person, they would say Naggiar. Oh man, they're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And when you ask someone else, maybe you'd say that's an oasis of tranquility.
It is.
How far is it from sitting on the patio looking at the vines? It's a beautiful view.
Mm-hmm.
How far is that to the intersection, say, at 49 and Combe?
It's about 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
It's about 15 minutes, and it's about 45 minutes to like Roseville if you're going down the hill. And then up here, it took me about 30-something minutes to come up here. And it feels like Tuscany, because of the villa is Tuscan inspired. And then there's the water, the big pond in the middle, and then you can see the vines. I mean, you have it all in one place. So it's really, it just takes you away somewhere else.
And having been there, you live there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've just visited, and it really is true. When you're sitting there, you could, without any difficulty, imagine you could be in a different country.
Yeah, we're very lucky, because a lot of people will come and they will say, we didn't know you were here, and we cannot believe that we have somewhere like this that is so close.
Yeah, yeah. And so do you consider yourself really a destination winery? You're not really, no one's going to drive by you. People go there, is that?
Absolutely. So, see, our motto is wine. It's about the wine. Enjoy the wine. Stay for the food. Listen to the music. So it is a destination. People come, and there's a lot to do, from the wine tasting to ordering something from the bistro to staying when there's music on the weekends. And then now we've just introduced our eco shuttle vineyard tours on weekends.
Okay, well, we'll get back to that in a minute. Don't let me forget to get that back. But I want Mike Naggiar, who of course is not here, but he's the patriarch. He's the founder, and he. Can you say what year did he start this project?
In 1998.
1998, And he had a grand vision from the beginning. Can
Yeah.
you describe that at all?
You know, they were living in Saratoga. He was with HP for 25 years. So Mike, my father-in-law, and Deanne, my mother-in-law, they moved from Saratoga. They had a 1-acre hobby vineyard in Saratoga on their property. And they found that they really enjoyed taking care of it, and the fruits of their labor. And then they decided that when he retired, this is what they wanted to do. This is the lifestyle that they wanted. And so they hired Larry, a gentleman from UC Davis, who had a lot of knowledge, and they shopped and looked around, and they settled on this plot in Grass Valley for several reasons. And then that's where they ended up building, and his vision was to be the best grape grower in all of California. I mean, Mike, anybody who knows Mike doesn't mess around. Mike has the vision to do the best, and that is what he does. And anybody who's come to the tasting room and seen that building and how elegant and magnificent it looks, the wine pairings that we do, the elegant dining room, everything, him and Deanne always do it, 5-star. That's how he operates. Yeah.
And I believe, for anybody who's been there, and if you get a chance to go, it's evident when you look at the vineyard, the vines are just meticulously cared. We used to call very cared for, very tended vineyards, we used to call them golf courses. that it looks like a golf course.
I've never heard that. That's very smart. Yeah.
Where it's so tended, it's so cared for, it's so, and it's not by accident that everything that you're having happen now is happening. So you at Naggiar, now you mentioned as family, and you do things as a family.
Yeah.
You meet as a family.
Absolutely.
You discuss issues, directions, plans, all of that. With Mike as the kind of the North Star that it's got to be good. It's got to be good.
Yeah.
So can you describe? You've got this kind of interesting philosophy about what it takes to make really world-class wines.
Yes.
So can you describe the combination between the vineyard, the grapes that you plant, and then the winemaking? Can you describe that theory at all?
Yeah. So it's really simple. Great wines start in the vineyard, and that's the way it is. So that's why from the very beginning of the whole process, from picking the plot of land to the clone that is picked and bought to plant, to how the vines, where are they planted? Are they facing the south where it's really hot? Are they more towards the north where it's cooler? And there's so much that you need to know when you put in a vineyard to do it right, because it costs a lot more to try and fix errors later than to do it right at the beginning. And all this was taken into consideration, the plot of land, the elevation, the very hot days or the warm days and the cool nights, which the grapes love, or at least the varietals we planted on the 60 acres. A lot is taken into consideration, and he took all of this into consideration, of course, with Larry Bradley when they did that, and just did it right. They did it right, and the fact that we own and operate our own vineyard, and we are not at the mercy of buying the grapes from any other person who, when you buy grapes, you buy them by the ton, and when you want to make very good wine, there's one of the things you do is you drop fruit. You'll go into the acreage of, the Cabernet Sauvignon, for example, and you'll just go and, you'll start cutting the ones, there's different times and for different reasons, but you drop perfectly good looking fruit, or at least would have been if it continued to mature. You do that so that whatever grapes are left, or the fruit that's left, is more concentrated, more rich, gives you a darker, more intense colors and flavor. So you do that, and you're able to, when you own your own vineyard, control that quality. And not, be at the mercy of somebody else who might tell you, I did that, but they didn't do it as much as you would have liked to, since they're being paid by the ton.
So really being in charge.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're in charge of the whole operation, from the vine to the wine.
Now, one of the things that I thought was interesting, and I don't know, maybe you could explain, I don't know if it was part of the plan from the very get-go, or if it developed over years, but I think you grow 18 varietals.
Yes,
now.
Correct, yes.
And that's more than most people can name.
Yes.
And so when you say Sangiovese or Tempranillo or Barbera, things that people have heard of, but you also grow blending grapes. And that very seldom don't ever get bottled with their name.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you do that?
So that's the other thing of why when you ask, why do you win so many awards? Why do you make such great wines that are recognized? A big part of it is that we control the process, and they are our grapes, our estate grapes, but also, you brought a very good point, is that we have a lot of blending types of grapes. And that, for a winemaker, is like a spice rack. And you have a lot of spices. When you make a dish, when you add a lot of spices to different dishes, well, that will enhance the flavors, the nuances, and that's basically what that does. And blended wines make better wines than just the strict 100% of that varietal.
So, when you at Naggiar, you make, as far as I can see, two categories of wines. Mm-hmm. One are wines with varietal names. Mm-hmm. They're called after the name of the grape.
Exactly.
And the other are blends, mm-hmm. which are not enough of any one grape to, mm-hmm. to meet it. So I understand the idea that the blended ones are mm-hmm. blends, because they're combinations. Mm-hmm. But even in your varietals, you're blending. Are you doing that?
A little bit.
So you're blending.
So they're not 100%. They're definitely, by law, they have to be 75% or more of that same varietal for them to be called that. But yes, to enhance and to bring forward those winemaking, we are very fortunate that we have Derek Irwin as our wine consultant. The experience that he has, he's from UC Davis, he has had experience abroad in Argentina and Italy, he has worked for Vianza. We are very lucky that we have him, because making these great wines is a combination. Making a great wine is a combination of science and art. So you need both of these to make a fantastic award-winning wine.
Does Derek involve himself much with the growing process?
Oh yeah, Derek,
he does.
We are so lucky. That's another thing I'm glad you brought up. We're so lucky. There's a lot of winemakers that don't even go. They sit in the office. I know that there's a lot of them that just sit in the office and they don't go out. Derek is out on the vineyard all the time. He looks, he tastes, he takes pictures. He's always in the vineyard more than he is in the office.
Really?
Yeah, and that definitely translates into these wines.
Yeah, mm-hmm. and do you you've been winning just a ton of awards.
Yeah.
You made a claim in something that you sent out recently, the best Sangiovese in California. Mm-hmm. It's a bold claim.
It is.
But tell us the news that you just got. Was it yesterday or even today? I'm not sure.
Yeah, we just got that email yesterday. So our Sangiovese, we make great wines. They win a lot of awards. The claim was that our Sangiovese is one of the best in all of California. Absolutely. It's won a lot of awards. I mean, just to name the recent one that I remember, it was the LA International Wine Competition. Our 2013 Sangiovese won gold. 92 points, I believe, best of class. And just yesterday we found out Wine Enthusiast gave our Sangiovese 91 points. I think it was 91 points. And it was Editor's Choice. Now, Editor's Choice is a big deal, because Editor's Choice, basically, when Wine Enthusiast deems one of the wines an Editor's Choice, it means it is an excellent quality with an excellent wine with unique qualities that merit to be recognized. So that is what this guy over here got. As a matter of fact, the reserve right next to it also got 92 points from the Wine Enthusiast, and also Editor's Choice. Now, Sangiovese is one of our Italian varietals. La Bête Noire, which translated from French to English means the black beast, and we called it that because it's made of the darkest grapes on the vineyard. Our Petit Syrah and a lot of the other darker ones. So that is a Rhone blend, and that got Editor's Choice as well. So just to show you that it's not just our Sangiovese or just the Italian varietals, but we specialize in the Rhone as well, and it has done very well, this one right here. And that's the one we're drinking. No, we're drinking the Sangiovese. Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
So on that, this is the Sangiovese, mm-hmm. this one, mm-hmm. and tell me, mm-hmm. I'll taste while you describe.
Okay.
Tell me how this wine, mm-hmm. Wine Enthusiast is a national wine magazine. Mm-hmm. It's comparable to the Wine mm-hmm. Spectator. Mm-hmm. It's not some guy in his basement writing wine blogs.
Yeah.
It's a national magazine. Are you the first? You certainly have to be the first winery in Nevada County that's gotten 90 points.
Yeah, 91, 92, so...
But broken the 90-point barrier.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal. We're very proud of it.
For years, the Sierra Foothills mm-hmm. felt they couldn't break the 90-point barrier. It was just something...
Very exciting, yeah.
So congratulations. So I'll taste it, and tell me, how does this wine represent your style? Talk a little bit about the Naggiar style. If someone's never tasted your wine before, talk a little bit about your philosophy and your style of wine.
Okay, so our style of wine, we wanted to represent the area. We wanted to be a true representation of what we can grow, what we can make and produce coming out of the Sierra Foothills. So you'll find that all our wines are very, they're very fruit forward. They're more New World. They're not very tannic, not overly tannic. You'll find them, to be very well consumed. You can keep some of the bigger ones, aside for a few years, but they're also very good and very approachable at the right away when you open them. So that, I think I answered your question, right?
I think I read it on your website. I was bumping around your website earlier, and you had it very well stated. I should have written it down because it was well written. Do you write the website?
No, I don't actually. We have
as your social media person.
So So I have somebody who does. We have somebody who's in charge of the website and the articles and the blog. As a matter of fact, the wife of our wine consultant, her name is Danielle Irwin. She's our blogger. So she's the one who posts all the stories about what's going on in the vineyard. So her blog will always tell you what's going on in the vineyard.
You've always been good about that, I felt. Being probably, I don't want to say more forthright because it's not secret information, but being very open about what you do. And Mike has always really had a website that describes what his goals are and how he's going to achieve them. Very fruit forward, a nice spicy nose, a little bit of smoke, a little bit of toasty, not much oak, but a little bit of toasty smoke on that. Full bodied with nice acidity.
Yeah. And it's true. It's got the nice acidity, the center.
And one of the things I was wondering in talking to you and talking to Mike, why Nevada County. Mike looked for a long time, quite extensively, for a place to have a vineyard, and he had the choice of really a lot of places.
He did.
And he picked Nevada County. And can you explain why at all?
Well, they looked in several places. I know that they had looked on the coast, and they had looked in Napa and Sonoma. Napa and Sonoma was very, very pricey. So that was a reason why they didn't do it. And I know the coast, when they looked, they liked to ski. They had a home in Lake Tahoe, so they sort of wanted to be close to here.
Oh, yes.
They looked a bit in Placerville, and then they found out that there were vineyards in Grass Valley. That there was an area, and with their consultant, they were able to find this plot of land, which was a big deal because it had water, which you always want water when you look for land to put in vineyard, and the elevation, and then again the hot days and the cool nights, and then they felt they felt that this would be a good place, and there was enough acreage for him to put in his expand it up to 80 acres if he wanted to. So that's how they ended up here: the lifestyle, the soil, the terroir, and that it was close to Lake Tahoe as well.
Well, it certainly is. I think that just from a personal perspective, I think that Naggiar does more to reach out to wine consumers, making them aware of Nevada County than any other winery in Nevada County.
Oh, thank you.
With a number of things that you do. Well, let's switch to the tasting room. 3 years ago, 5 years ago? How many years ago did you build it?
2009.
So that's more than I thought. You built. There really wasn't a tasting room.
No.
The first time I went there, I tasted with Mike and Diane.
In their house.
In their house at the counter in the kitchen.
That's where it was.
And that was lovely, and I wouldn't trade that experience for anything.
I know.
But if you've got 30 or 50 or 100 people come into your tasting room, you can't do that.
You can't. And that was the idea, is that, they had people knocking, showing up at their door on weekends, where the dogs were in their pajamas. It was Saturday morning, and they're like, hey, we're here to taste wine. So no, that wasn't going to work. And the vision initially, when Mike thought about it, and Deanne, they thought about making, a smaller a room, for tasting and stuff. And as you can see, with everything that Mike does, he just said, no, we're going to make this a destination, and we're going to make people come and want to stay, because there's a lot to do.
And so there'll be some pictures that the people can see of the tasting room. But again, it's astounding when you're there, the way you set it up. If you were blindfolded, driven there, and the blindfold came off, and they said, "Where are you?"
You wouldn't know.
You wouldn't.
There's no way you would know.
You wouldn't be able to say where you were.
You're right. I never thought of it that way. I'm going to use that.
It's stunningly beautiful.
Yep.
and it's pastoral. It's really everybody should go. So let's talk about the tasting room for a few minutes. Because it's a little bit out of the way, you've gone out of your way to give people things to do when they're there. So tell us, what are some of the programs and some of the things that go on at the wine, not the winery, but the tasting room?
So we know that it's off, a little bit off the beaten path, like you said. So the main thing that we do is that we offer free wine tasting. I don't know of anybody else who does free wine tasting. So we have about 7 wines that customers will come in and they will try for free. And we change them all the time because, as you know, we have 22 different wines. So that changes from one weekend to another. We have a bistro. So a lot of people, they can come look at the menu, order a little something, small plates, and enjoy with their wine.
Would somebody go there for dinner?
We have a bistro menu. It has, some dishes that are a bit heavier, but we have a lot of people.
More tapas kind of thing?
Yeah, definitely tapas. So they're made to share. You'll order 1, 2, or 3 dishes and just enjoy them all. And then so we have the bistro, we have the wine tasting, we have live music on weekends. So every Friday and every Saturday from 6 to 9 p.m. we have local artists who will come in and they'll play music. And
is there a charge for that?
There is no charge for that.
No charge for that?
No cover charge, so they'll come and enjoy. On weekends we do wine and food pairings in our elegant dining room. So we do these as well. That gives something, for somebody who wants to learn about the wine and the food, why they pair together or what to serve them with. We have concerts. We have our whole Wine Fest season where we have concerts on a waterfront stage with the backdrop of the vineyard and the water. Blows your mind with the band playing. It's a 5-foot high stage so we do that. We have one more left. That is it. That's the last concert. It's Saturday, the 25th of September. It's pop, rock, and soul. So it's a tribute to Michael Jackson, Tina Turner, James Brown, Aretha Franklin.
So these are tribute shows recognizing, you had Foreigner, I think, earlier this year. And you had the
Eagles.
The Eagles. I was going to say the Beach Boys. But
we've had the Beach Boys in the past. So we try to change them up. We had country.
And people like that.
They love it. They come and they dance. They take their shoes off and they dance in the grass and the stage, the vineyard. It's really something. So like I said, there's only one more left for this season, and if you haven't been to any, it's really something you want to experience.
Now, do you guys like a property on the Mediterranean? Do you shut down for the winter? What do you do?
Okay, we do. So for our sanity, we do for our sanity, I think, or else, So around December and January are the 2 months usually where we'll go 12 to 5. We'll slow it down, But December is a good month because we do these huge wine sales. We think we start them in November, right before Christmas. So still a lot of people come in to take advantage of our big sales that we have for the holidays. But you also said another thing that we just introduced that's brand new in Nevada County, the first of its kind, up here in the Sierra Foothills, is our Eco Shuttle Vineyard Tours.
Okay,
so we have that every single weekend.
Let's hear about that for a minute.
So we have them, we had this vision, we thought, to make these great wines, people come all the time and they wonder, how do you make these great wines? And we want to share with them that the great wines, they start in the vineyard. And what better way than to take them on an eco shuttle, a tour of the whole vineyard. We'll go through vines, we'll stop and taste grapes, if there's grapes on the vines, and tell you what the vineyard is doing at this time of year. They stop and do some wine and cheese pairing, and then go to the barrel room and do some wine tasting directly from the barrel.
So this is not a 10-minute tour.
So there's, I'm glad you asked because there's 2 types of tours. There's the tours that run on weekends, every Saturday and every Sunday. There's a 1, 3, and 5 o'clock. They run on Saturdays and Sundays. And then the last one is at 3 on Sunday. But so we do these. These are 30-minute to 45-minute. That's for the, I want to go and drive through the vines. I want to see the vineyard. I want to take a few, selfies or Snapchat or. So this is for, the crowd who wants to know and see and feel what it's like to be in a vineyard. But then we have the in-depth or behind-the-scenes vineyard tour, and that's the one where you actually do the wine and cheese pairing on the knoll with the 180-degree, panoramic view. You go in the winery, learn about the different barrels. Why different barrels? How long do you keep the wine in the barrel? The winemaking process.
So it's the behind-the-scenes tour.
That's the 2.5-hour tour.
2.5 hours.
Oh, yeah, and you get to keep your glass as a souvenir from the whole experience. So a lot of people come, and either they know right away, I want to do the 2.5-hour tour. We do it twice a month. so they have to book in advance that one.
Right.
But then the 30-minute to 45-minute, they can show up on weekends and just,
And now I know you charge for the 2.5. Do you
Yes.
charge for the other?
We do. The other one's $15
Uh-huh.
for a 30 to 45-minute tour, and then it's 20% off if you're a wine club member. So
Right.
you always get a discount.
Now, just in closing, I know that you've won a ton of awards with your wines.
Yeah.
I was trying to count up over a dozen gold medals this year alone. Too many medals to begin to remember and count. But you also, unbelievably, have won the Best of Sacramento for 6 years in a row.
Yeah, that's the KCRA 3A list.
And that's impossible. I mean, it's...
I tell you, we are so honored. I can't, because this is the people. The people actually go and vote.
That's what I think. On all the wine awards, you want the wine judges to say these wines rock.
Yeah.
But the KCRA thing, that's experiential.
Yes.
That's people going there and having a good time. It's nothing to, well, of course, if the wine were poor, it would matter. But it's not voting on the wine, it's voting on the experience.
So it's basically the whole package, because, there's a lot of people can make good wine. We have a great wine that definitely helps. That's wonderful. But, the big deal also is the experience. Because I will tell you, Rod, from the minute, and you've come before, you should, I don't know if you've come during open hours, but from the moment you walk through the door to the minute you leave, it's memorable. We take care of you. You're like family when you come to Naggiar. All of us, the employees even, have been with us for such a long time that we really appreciate the customer. We greet you, make you feel so welcome. And I think that the people feel it, they appreciate it. If you go on all of those reviews, TripAdvisor, we've won the award, of excellence, because we've gone consistently 5 and 4.
And that KCRA award, that's not Nevada County. That's the entire Foothills.
That is the entire Foothills. That's got Amador in it. That's got a lot of big names in there, and that's why we're so humbled and honored that people actually take the time and then they go and they vote, because they truly feel that. I know everybody works hard, but we really try and reach out to that customer and make them feel very special.
And when is the tasting room open?
So the tasting room is open Fridays and Saturdays, 12 to 9, and Sundays, 12 to 5.
Okay, and no appointment needed unless you want the eco tour.
And that one you just show up and you can buy the ticket right there.
You gotta buy tickets for the
2.5-hour tour.
But I go back to the concerts.
Yeah,
you gotta buy tickets for the concerts.
You can do that by calling, or you can.
But otherwise, just drive down the road, show up, and enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Better with friends.
Yeah. That's what it is, Ron. Just come on down.
What I like, I'm terribly worried that when the generation that is currently running the wineries in Nevada County, when that generation gets old, they're going to retire, the winery's going to close.
I hope not.
But in your case, there's the second generation in place. It's all family. Yeah. So we know that Naggiar will be around years and years and years from now.
Yeah, I hope so, and we do everything we can with social media as well. So if your viewers are watching and they are into social media, then always Facebook and.
So you're in the tasting room.
Yeah.
So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, go to Naggiar.
Yep.
Ask for Mary. Well, Mary Naggiar,
thanks
for taking time out of your busy season. We're in the middle of harvest. Yep. We didn't even talk about harvest. You're going to have to come back and tell us how it was.
Yeah.
Harvest looks good?
It looks great.
You're already started?
Yeah, we're halfway done.
Halfway done, and we're in the middle of September.
Yeah, and the fruit looks beautiful. We started early. Yeah.
A little early.
Yeah.
And do you think it's going to be light or average? Or
it's looking very good. It's going to be our average. The average is 250 tons.
And you think you're going to be right on schedule?
Yeah.
Naggiar, great wines being recognized. It's fabulous to see them getting such awards.
Thank you, Rod.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
I'm Rod Byers, and this is Wine Talk. We'll see you next time.